Do, do, do. I've been so excited about this experience talks all day, but also since Adrienne decided she was going to join us today. So welcome everyone. I'm Alexis Willis, the Director of Small Business and Entrepreneurship. And today we are hosting Experience Talks, which is our monthly chat hosted by the INCubator. And our special guest today is Adrienne Cooper. And she has been crushing it. I wore my glitter lip in honor of her to start, so I can sparkle with her today. I'm so excited. I'm totally fangirling. Met Adrienne doing cartwheels back in, I was not cartwheeling. Adrienne was cartwheeling. I would have been tore up if I was doing the cartwheels. Anyways, met her doing cartwheels with my daughter back in February and have been following her story ever since. And what an incredible story it is. So I'm excited for her to share some of that today. So Adrienne, why don't you tell us who you are, about your company, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Alexis, so much. Thank you guys for having me on. My name is Adrienne Cooper. I am 25. I live here in Chattanooga in St. Elmo area, and I'm the owner of Moonlight Roller. Last year, I founded Moonlight. I was working in the catering industry at the time, and I had recently got out of the military, finished up in the Navy, was transitioning back into civilian life, and liked the social aspect of catering and the marketing aspect, but I really wanted the opportunity to be able to apply those skills to my own business. I wasn't sure really what I wanted to do, but then I started roller skating, and I immediately knew that I wanted to make a career out of it somehow. So I identified what I thought was a need for more adult-centered events that were skate events. So a lot of the rinks in the area are catered more towards, children's parties and family events. So I really liked the idea of combining that social aspect of roller skating with a more upscale adult experience. So that led me to create my LLC. At the time, it was Moonlight Roller Lounge LLC, as I was working to open up an 18 and up roller skating rink and bar here in Chattanooga. Shortly after I began that project, we decided to take it mobile as well. So that is when Moonlight Mobile was born, December of last year. We started traveling for events. We booked Bonnaroo, Atlanta Comic-Con, and then unfortunately all of those things were canceled due to COVID. So we had spent the spring working on designing a rental skate for our mobile events. We just wanted a more supportive skate for drinking adults. And when all of our events crashed, we decided to do a limited release of the rental skate, which we were calling the Moon Boot, and it completely blew up. So we decided to kind of pivot and release an entire line. So we released 3 initial colors, which sold out in just a few hours. And since then, that was May when we released the skate for its first. Since then, it's been us trying to keep up. We now have identified a location in Chattanooga for the lounge, so we're working towards opening that next year.
Whoa.
Cliff Note version.
So cool. And all this has been within a year. So you're coming up on 1 year anniversary of Moonlight.
We'll be 2 in March.
2. Okay. So you were doing events at the Moxie. I remember seeing that. That came before you were looking for a lounge space last year?
That was during. We did our first, we wanted to have a way to, at the time I was looking for investors we wanted a way to be able to build the brand and also have money coming in. That way we could hit that 2 years of income coming in for when we wanted to apply for loans or any sort of financial aid. So we did one pop-up event, which was supposed to be just our brand launch, and it went over really well. So we hosted a second one in Atlanta, and that went over so well that we knew that we needed to make it mobile. So at that point, December of last year was when we started building out Moonlight Mobile. And in January, we started booking it. So we did book it at a few local places, the Moxie, Naked River, and then we have since halted pushing that since no one really feels comfortable hosting large events right now.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the industry a little bit. Was roller skating something you did as a kid and you were just like, I'm going to roller skate right now? You touched on a little bit in the Cliff Note version, but like, the industry, I remember, Lord, when the going to the skating ring was the jam back in the day. It's been I put on a pair of skates once in 20 years. It was a disaster. But back then, like, that's what you did. You went to the roller rink. Have you seen kind of that popularity, start back up again with roller skating? It seems like, I see your journey and I'm like, whoa, roller skating's cool again, but it probably was cool for a while and I didn't know about it. So what tap into it?
The pandemic truly, I think with the help of TikTok, with the help of people just being glued to their phones, really trying to get outside the house and do something that was just an outdoor activity. They could social distance. They didn't have to go somewhere and be around a lot of people. There has always been, roller skating really never left. There's always been an underground community of people who have been skating their tails off since the 70s. And a lot of that is local too. Atlanta has a huge skate culture. Louisville, Kentucky, not too far away, has got a huge skate culture. So March really of this year was when every skate company experienced a boom. It wasn't just mine. Every roller skate company in the world is experiencing huge lead times for their orders, delays in manufacturing, delays in shipping. Everyone is sold out. Our leading competitor has upwards of a 5-month wait time for their skates right now.
Wow.
So everyone truly is trying to feel the vibe that the roller skating community is kind of cultivating.
Yeah. So the pandemic, you want to talk a little bit about what boosted, at the time, all your events were canceling, right? All these big events that you had hopes for, but then simultaneously people wanted your product. Can you talk a little bit about what that felt like? For example, the last young lady that we had a talk with, she said everything ended all within like 30 days. And then she had kind of this rebirth of how she exists as an entrepreneur in her company and what it does going forward since the pandemic. So you want to talk a little bit about like what was that like?
Absolutely. I think that, there we go. I think that for us, it truly was an overnight type situation. We had like 2,000 followers on Instagram, something very, very small. And then a tweet went viral about us. And overnight we gained 20,000 followers. That was the most surreal moment of my life. I like to get on Instagram Live with my followers. So I had hopped on Instagram Live the day that we decided to launch. And so I just had like 500 people staring at me as I cried because the skates fell so unbelievably quickly on the website. We were selling out of sizes in minutes. So it has been definitely a very steep learning curve of having truly, I was the only employee up until June. So I went from having one employee and it being very much a small business to having 13 employees and, doing global sales in just days. So it was a steep learning curve, to say the least. But I think that feeling, I don't know, it's kind of almost like disbelief mixed with like, really, like you've been working so long to get something off the ground, and then just overnight it picks up. So that was really amazing.
Yeah, it's like hearing your own song on the radio.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it's like, what? Is that me? Let's talk about some of your accolades. Girl, what yesterday, Forbes 30 under 30?
Yes. Still shook. Still can't.
Crushing it. I think like last week you were in Vogue? Were you the week before or sometime last month? I can't even keep up.
It's been
Adrienne, this is like so huge. Am I blushing? It's so huge. I'm so proud that this is like, I can't even find the words, that you went from 1 to 13 employees in just a couple of months. Forbes, Vogue, I'm sure I'm missing something. But where do you go from here? Look, the comment says, yes, queen. For sure.
Really, I think Moonlight's next steps are just perfecting the moon boot, making sure that we're offering our customers the best possible product, the highest level of customer service, and getting as many people on wheels as we can in the next few years. After that, while we're doing that, we're currently working on the first lounge. We hope to franchise it one day, but we're starting with one. The mobile we have franchised, and we do have a franchise going in Austin and in Long Beach. So the lounge, we're hoping to get it open summer of next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So can you talk about being an entrepreneur and having a support system at home? So you're not just this badass like entrepreneur. You're a mom and a wife. So how do you how important is it to have the infrastructure at home so that when you do have like overnight growth, you can keep up? Because for a window of time, it was just you, right? Running the company. Can you talk a little bit about, how if someone is like, okay, I'm gonna take the leap, what advice would you give them on how to set their home infrastructure so that they can grow?
So I think that looks kind of different for everybody. For me, I was able to work from home. I was working like some part-time gigs from home. That way I could stay home with my son and also work on building Moonlight. My husband was incredibly supportive, and for us, that looked like him getting off work, coming home, taking care of the baby, and me disappearing into a room for 9 hours to get done as much as I could before Emmett woke up. I also think that it's really important to know if you're interested in taking a leap like this, that I am seeing now that there truly isn't a perfect time. And if you just continue to wait for just the right time, you may never arrive at the perfect point. Sometimes that point never arrives. Sometimes it's a moment that you kind of find along the way. And I think that a lot of people have asked, like, what's the secret? How do you do it? How do you do it all? Honestly, I'd probably say discipline. There's a lot of times when you're startups are a really heartbreaking process. It's a lot of love that goes into it, a lot of wins, a lot of losses, and those losses can be overwhelmingly discouraging. And it's important in those times that you're not feeling overwhelmed with passion to be able to at least be disciplined. So if it's not, just like gusto pulling you out of bed in the morning, your alarm will, and you know that you have things that you need to get done, even though you're not super thrilled about it. So I think discipline and a schedule, like an internal schedule, has been the biggest key for me.
Do you think that's like kind of left over from your military background?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Discipline's an interesting one. That kind of comes and goes. At least it does in my household. Yeah. So when you designed your moon boot, you mentioned that like you designed a skate where drunk people can roll around.
Yes. The skates that we were using at the time were a low top leather skate. They were good, but I wanted something that was going to have more ankle support. Mm-hmm. At our events, people are drinking. Everyone falls whether you're drinking or not on skates. So we wanted to have a skate that was going to be comfortable on the first roll so people wouldn't have to worry about painful break-ins, especially if they're the first one using a rental skate and like those first 10 people using that pair having like a not great time. We wanted it to have a nice padded ankle, and also I felt like a lot of the roller skate designs on the market were very much geared towards women, and I wanted to see some colors. I myself like a lot of neutral colors. I like to wear a lot of black, a lot of dark colors. I wanted a skate that I felt like was a little more, could go with your outfit and like blend in and wasn't like, glitter or something, that in the future.
I'm all about the glitter, but I also love you have an emerald green pair, which is kind of my color this year, emerald and python, I think I saw. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some really cool colors. All right, that's awesome. And then, so did you have any feedback from other skate manufacturers in the industry as you were kind of launching? Like, was it hyper competitive? Did any of them reach out to you? Or
yes, it is hyper competitive. But the reason it's not, I don't think, as bad anymore, even as it was at the beginning of the year. It's not as hyper competitive as it used to be, I think, because there's been so much growth in the industry, and truly there is enough for all of the skate companies are doing well. Nobody's taking a hit since Moonlight has been here. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think that having another skate on the market that fills in gaps for styles that people may be interested in helps bring more people to the industry overall. And maybe they'll land on Moonlight's page and say, well, this isn't 100% my style. And then they end up on another roller skate page and then find a pair there. Mm-hmm. So I think just the industry growth has helped kind of with the competitiveness. I do have a lot of mentors in the skate community. Our competitor and I have a pretty good relationship. And that's something that we'd like to continue furthering, is seeing more like unity and collaboration in the skate world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you, that's a good point, is to have, you reached out to someone in the industry and just was like, hey, I want to, this is something I'm interested in. Can you give me some direction? And you didn't get any real pushback from this person.
Oh, I did not do that at all. Whenever I started making the rental, I have a I have a mentor, and he was pretty much the only person who thought that there was a market for adults roller skating. Mm-hmm. And whenever I told him that I was looking for new rental skates, I asked him about his rental skates, and he was like, no, you should not get these rental skates. These are terrible. And I was like, well, if this brand sucks and this brand sucks and the ones I'm using suck, then what rentals are you supposed to use?
Yeah.
You're supposed to buy full price, $500 skates. And yes, apparently if you want a high quality rental, that is what you have to do. So instead, I decided that I wanted to make my own, and I launched myself into a week of looking up everything that I could think of to potentially lead me to different manufacturers. I found a few. I pitched my idea to them and some designs that I had. And after going back and forth with some samples, I landed on a manufacturer that I liked.
That's awesome. I had another question. I think I lost it. I'm in total fangirl world right now.
No.
You are like I'm so inspired by you. I really am. You just like from the moment we met before to the audience, before we went live, I talked about meeting Adrienne cartwheeling, or maybe I did say that at the beginning, but she just had this like glow about her even then and now for sure. But I was like, man, she seems like a really cool girl. I remember telling my mom that when I saw her from a distance. And so I'm super proud of you. And like in the way that your company has developed, I'm curious to hear about what other development you're going to do personally to continue to grow as an entrepreneur. And then I'm assuming Moonlight isn't going to be the only thing that you make magic happen with, So what other things are you thinking about personally?
Prior to joining the Navy, I was going to college for political science. I dropped out after my dad passed away and joined the Navy. And after being in the Navy, I was kind of disillusioned with our government and didn't really feel like I wanted to go back to school for political science. So I put that to the wayside. But this election season particularly has been really, really inspiring. And I decided to go back to UTC to finish my political science degree. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with that yet, but I know that that's where I want to start next.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just about follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just following through, getting a degree. I mean, clearly follow through is not that much of an issue for you, but that's awesome. Yeah. Do you have, let's see, do you have someone who, if you could pick up the phone and call them right now to get some advice or someone that inspires you, who would that be?
Probably Swizz Beatz. My dream mentor, seriously.
Yeah.
One of the most innovative entrepreneurs, like from music to art to real estate to now a camel racing team that is first American camel racing team to win all of these different competitions. So he's super cool to me. So I would love to call him and ask him.
All right, Swizz, if you happen to get a hold of this video, I need you to call Moonlight, call Adrienne. Okay, camel racing? That can't be happening is that happening on this part of the world?
That is happening in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen many camels lately. Definitely not camels racing. Okay, cool. So, wasn't expecting that, but that's awesome.
Like to fit thing.
Yeah. Swizz is cool. I only know his music side, and that's it. Yeah, that's awesome. Now I'm gonna have to research and be like, what's he up to lately?
See?
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. That kind of threw me off. Who are some local entrepreneurs that you've collaborated with in terms of, I don't know, either host an event? We mentioned the Moxie, which is a local venue. What about other entrepreneurs to develop product line for Moonlight?
I'm actually working with a local entrepreneur right now. Her name is Lori Button, and she is the owner of Bloom. They are a CBD bath product company. Mm-hmm. So they use all organic, local, full spectrum CBD oil in rubs, balms, bath bombs. So we just teamed up to create a bath bomb together that's aimed to soothe sore skater muscles called Boogie Nights. So
I love it.
We put that out together. So I love working with small businesses in chat. Like, we'll find something.
Yeah. That's awesome. But you don't have to be a roller girl just to do that, right? Okay.
That's for everybody. Everyone who
okay, because I might get one or two. Yeah. All right, so we are about halfway done. Let me check the chat and see if we have any questions. Not yet. I got a woot woot and a yes queen in the chat. But we'll open it up for questions if you all have any. Anyone yet? Let me change my view. Katie, do you have one? Katie's over at the collab.
Hey, Adrienne, we actually talked, you and I spoke early on, like last April, working at collab. We talked about, I work with Capital. So for me, it's been really amazing just to hear your story, because when you and I talked about roof time, and it was in the height of everything with COVID, we had such unknown, and you were kind of debating. So it's been really cool just to see your journey. So what was it like to be named one of Forbes 30 under 30? Like, how, I mean, I don't think I know anyone personally that has that honor. So what's that been like, just kind of even just your own personal journey and then having that come around?
I'm still kind of processing it. I feel like it has not fully sunk in. I know Chattanooga does have one other 30 under 30 winner, so super awesome that we got two in Chattanooga. I honestly, humbling, disbelief. In the email, it had expressed that there were tens of thousands of applications, and this year they saw more applications than ever, which is surprising because it's the height of a pandemic. But out of the pandemic, there's just been so much innovation. And I think that reading the list and seeing the names of some of the people that I was selected to be alongside, just very, very surreal.
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled and can't wait to see what comes next and continues growth and, all of it. I'm kind of like Alexis. I mean, growing up in the 80s, I remember a skating rink, and where I grew up in Alabama, I mean, we went there, but like, I haven't been as an adult. I'm not really sure. Could I stay upright?
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to be in some bubble wrap. I did have one of the girls from our roller derby team ask me to be a part of the team, and I was like, girl, the first time I bust my lip, I'm out. She was like, oh, that could happen anytime. Mm-mm.
Yeah. But they always say, that's not a roller derby injury, that's a skate injury.
See what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Katie, maybe we should just we can practice in my driveway before we go to an event, so
yeah,
we'll a little bit.
Sarah, yeah. I'm going to nominate Sarah to come over too.
Yeah, I can roller skate.
You can?
Yeah, I went to a kid's party and I was surprised. It's like riding a bike.
Okay.
You can still do it. You can still do it.
All right, Alexis, then.
All right, the three of us. Yeah. So Sarah, this is the perfect time to introduce Sarah as one of our counselors with the TSBDC, one of the resources inside the incubator and also in the ecosystem. So
yeah, nice to meet you.
On the call.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Oh, here's one. What's been your most shocking in a positive way or surprising moment you've had along the way? That's from Teresa.
Probably Forbes 30 under 30. That has been the biggest shock. anytime I see a picture of myself somewhere, I'm like, ah! So it's always very shocking.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty cool. I think that would top my list too. If there was one thing you wish you had known back in March, what would it be? What advice would you give your March self?
To be kinder to myself. This is a really cyclic process, and there's a lot of highs and lows, and I would tell myself to be a lot kinder to myself during those processes. And I've really learned to take time back for myself to kind of take care of me. So I would have tried to do that sooner.
Was that taking care of yourself, was that the inspiration for the bath bombs?
Yes, actually, Lori reached out to me. They were in need of a model for a photo shoot she was trying to do, so I helped her out with that, and her and I rode together to Nashville. So for 2 hours, we just talked in the car. On the way back, we were just talking about how cool would it be if Moonlight and Bloom could do something together. And then we were like, oh, wait a minute. We're the owners. We can together. It's that easy. Let's figure something out. So we started working on it.
Yeah, that's cool. So any other questions? It looks like a ladies' power hour. I love it.
I have a question. What's been the biggest hurdle for you since the beginning?
The first, I would say 60% to where we are now, the hardest part was finding financing.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Mm-hmm. And since then, since I would say probably June, the hardest has been finding employees.
That's the second thing I thought you were going to say.
You could give me any resources.
Yeah, those are usually the two hardest struggles people have.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you overcome them?
What's that, Sarah?
I was asking Adrienne, how does she overcome them?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the discipline factor. Having thick enough skin to be able to hear 270 no's before you hear a yes. It's really discouraging when you approach an investor or approach a potential financing source or grant source or something to be shot down, or for the investor to say your brand has too much pink and it'll never work, and that you need to take yourself seriously and brand yourself like this. That was honestly like the worst piece of advice that I received through this whole process, was to change my branding from the pink. I didn't, so they didn't invest, and I'm glad that I didn't and they didn't invest, because the pink is now like our thing. So yeah, I would say that just the ability to know that just because one person says no, that does not mean everybody is going to say no. And eventually, if you open enough doors or turn enough knobs, one's going to open.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to keep adjusting your pitch and your strategy when you were approaching people?
Yeah, I try to take constructive criticism and apply it and absorb it as quickly as I can. I think that's one of my strong suits, being able to just like roll it into an existing plan or improve on something. So every time I walked out of a meeting that I got like laughed out of, I would sit down in my car and I'd cry about it for a second, and then I'd write notes, and I would think of all the things that I could have said better every time that I saw somebody's eyes kind of do something, like what did I say to make that response? And I would just completely break down all of my interactions and see like what are the things that people are looking for, what are things that I can do to make the brand more well-rounded. After talking to so many different people, getting so many different perspectives, it really helped me morph the brand into what it is today.
That's great advice.
Mm-hmm. It's also really brave to tell an investor no, I think. Because you could have easily said, yeah, okay, we'll do, Navy, and I'll get this money and then I can grow. But you didn't. You said no, and then, which probably, was, you probably would have liked the money, but you stuck to the integrity of your integrity and the integrity of your brand. I like pink too. But
it's my favorite color.
Yeah. Pink is a good color.
It was important to me to have the autonomy to do those things. I quickly realized the type of investor, the type of financial obligation there were things that I was willing to give and things that I wasn't willing to give. And I thought it kind of gave me a sign like, okay, if you're already pushing me to change the brand from pink, what else are you going to push me to do that I really want to do? So I just kind of took that as maybe it's a sign that something's, and it was incredibly painful. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was walk away from that. After that, I was like, well, if I can't even, if I have to change the brand, if people don't even like the pink, like what am I doing? I thought that was the whole aesthetic. So again, taking that rejection and moving on.
Wow. Let's see, how can I frame this question? So, when you had naysayers, was there ever any follow-up from them, especially now being Forbes 30 under 30 and mentioned in Vogue? I mean, literally monthly I see some accolades that Moonlight is getting. Have they ever come back to you and said, we made a mistake, we want a partner, or, any other follow-up conversation? And if so, what was your response to that?
Yes, unfortunately. I kind of wish that wasn't how it was, but within just a few months or a few weeks of a few days for some people after the viral tweet and everything really blowing up, I had a few investors who I had talked to ask if I was still looking for funding. And honestly, a business in the startup stage could always use funding for something. Like we definitely could have used the additional funding, but I didn't want it. And the reason I didn't want it is because, have you ever heard the story of the little red hen and she like bakes the bread by herself, asks everyone to help and no one wants to help her, and then they all said, so I just didn't work with any of those people. I really wasn't interested because I found people who believed in me when there wasn't much to believe in. And now people who had the opportunity to be in that exact same place, I appreciate it so much that they reached back out to me. But my, I don't know, I take my peace of mind and soul like very seriously. So I try to keep out any kind of negative energy, and I just always feel weird, shady vibes from things like that. So I told everyone no, and we haven't accepted any investors. We actually bought all of our investors out. So
in a matter of months? Wow. Girl, you are a boss. We're going to be reading about you like 10, 15 years from now. Be like, yeah, y'all thought roller skating was out. Gotcha.
It was so in my pitch deck. I'm going to have to send you my original pitch deck, Alexis, because in April of last year, I was just trying to convince people like adults do roller skate. They do. It's so cool. Like, we throw a couple glasses of wine on it. It's going to be a great time. And, it was just like a really sudden kind of shift in perspective. And now it's so crazy to me to think that a year ago I had to try to convince people like roller skating is an adult activity. And now you're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing adults on roller skates on every major magazine. You're seeing it in commercials, Bloomingdale's, Saks Fifth Avenue. Everybody's using roller skating in their music videos. So it's crazy how quickly that happened in a year.
Maybe that's the collaboration with Swiss Beats.
I'm trying. I'm actively trying.
In a music video, we're gonna call that in. We're gonna manifest that one.
I've been testing it for months. I'm hoping
we need it to happen. Let me see. I think another question popped up. What's the most rewarding part of growing a team, and what, besides recruiting, is the most frustrating?
I think the most rewarding part of growing a team so far has been, one, seeing the friendships that have come from the employees at Moonlight Roller, like the friendships and relationships that have come out of the warehouse, seeing people getting their mom roller skates and everyone in their family roller skates, and seeing my friends be exposed and getting on roller skates. That kind of like personal connection has been really, really rewarding. Also, my son, he's 2.5, so he doesn't fully get the picture, but everyone on the team just loves him to pieces, and it's great to be able to raise him in an environment where he sees strong women working hard every single day, strong women leading in their industry. All of my managers just happen to be women. 90% of my team is women. And so I just really like to be able to set that example. I think that the most difficult thing is learning boundaries, especially when you're in a position like me. A lot of the people who work at Moonlight are my friends. They're roller skaters in the community that I knew roller skating, so they know the most in Chattanooga about skates and parts and what to do. So they have the industry knowledge. So being able to have healthy friendships and also a healthy professional work environment is a really difficult thing to balance.
Whose question was that? That was Jessie. And Hannah said, what a baddie. Okay, queen.
Hi, Hannah.
That's awesome. Well, we are at quarter till, friends. Do you all have any other questions or feedback for Adrienne? Adrienne, you want to tell us a little bit about what events you have coming up and how we can get plugged into your brand, where to buy, stuff like that?
Absolutely. Our website is moonlightroller.com. All of our social media handles are at Moonlight Roller. On our website, you can sign up to subscribe to our email list, and we send out restock updates. We are releasing a collaboration skate this month that has been kept secret up until this point. So we have that dropping this month. It is pink, and I'm really looking forward to it. We also are going to be doing one more warehouse clear out sale this year. We did a warehouse clean out a couple weeks ago to get rid of some stock that we weren't going to be able to put on the website, some things with cosmetic defects, and we had a line at Moonlight whenever we started. So we're going to do one more of those. So if you're looking for some discounted skates, you can stop by our warehouse sale. We're on Calhoun Avenue. And if you guys have any information, you can hit us up on social media.
Cool. This was fun for me. It's like talking to my homegirl.
Me too. I was nervous. Why?
Don't be nervous. I can be so silly and fumble around on these things. Don't be nervous. Totally low key, but I'm still fangirling, and I am so, so, so proud of you, Adrienne. Like, it has been super neat to watch you grow. I mean, pretty much explode overnight. I mean, it's been amazing. And I even have gone up against some of your naysayers, and I'm like, see, check her out. Oh, did you read that article? Oh, okay. So there are plenty of people who have your back, girl, and who are rooting for you, and who will even bust their tail on some skates just for you. I will only do that for you, okay?
I can't.
All right. Thank you all for spending your power hour with us. Adrienne, thank you again. If you all want to, let's see, there's some more stuff popping up in the chat. Everyone in your life is so freaking proud of you. You are an inspiration to everyone. That's from Hannah. Lots of I'm proud of you. Nicholas says, I'm so incredibly proud of you and can't wait for the future and your growth.
Thanks, Nick. That's my husband, you guys.
I suspected. See, that supportive spouse. That's so amazing. All right. Okay. I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next month.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Bye.